We're rolling. Timer starts now. Mark. Hi, I'm Ford.
And I'm Sky. And these are not our real names. These are our superhero names, and with our powers combined, we formed the writing partnership L. Skyford. Welcome to Booklandia.
You've joined us today for a Minisode, where we will geek out about literary topics like plot and character tropes, and maybe some book news. But before we get much further, did you know you can watch our faces do this episode by subscribing to us on Twitch at lskyford or YouTube at l.skyford? You should do it. We give good face.
And sometimes there's a dog bomb at Ford's house.
This is true. For our other socials, you can follow us on Twitter at SkyfordL, on Instagram at l.skyford. And if you're interested in our book, blog, or even more book reviews, head over to our website, lskyford.com.
Lastly, this and every episode are chock full of oversharing and spoilers, and every episode is rated E for explicit. You have been warned.
Hi! It's our final minisode.
It is our final minisode.
Meow, 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 meow.
All right.
Confetti, popping a cracker, wearing a funny hat. Here,
let's do it. All right. So
celebrate.
We are going to talk about sex workers and escorts in romance tropes. In case you guys need a content warning, that's the content warning. That's it. That's the warning. We're talking about sex workers.
I'm also going to say it right up front. Sex work is work. If you don't believe that, please, goodbye.
Yes, agreed. Exactly. Yes. If you, really think hard about why you need a content warning on something that is just work. And is work that is very valid. So,
often called the oldest profession.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Oh, you have feelings. Tell me about those feelings.
I mean, there's a lot of professions that are equally as old, like parenting and carrying the emotional labor of people who don't want to show up emotionally. And I can go on, but I don't.
I was thinking olive picker, but like.
Also, yes, definitely that job. Basket weaver. Yeah, absolutely.
Hunter, gatherer.
Totally. Yes. Those things. So, okay. So the premise here is that it's a book where one or both main characters either work or have worked in the sex industry and are now...
that includes escorts. That includes dominatrices. Is that the word? I'm gonna say it's the word.
Sure. Yes.
Sure. What else? Exotic dancers. Porn. People who work in the porn industry. Yeah.
Yeah. Any and all.
That's what we're encompassing in sex work.
Anyone who works in the business of pleasure, essentially. And we can really get into like whether or not theatrical performers and burlesque performers fall into that category.
Sure.
Like based on whether or not it's a historical. So
interesting. Yeah.
But I do want to.
Does that also apply to like sex shop workers? Anybody who sells sex toys? Like, those gray edges right there.
Yeah. So for me, and the way I use this terminology today, it has to do with people in the sex industry. So like people who sell sex toys are like, I don't know. The entire industry is not scary to me, so I don't really see the hard boundaries of this, but I see your point.
Right. I think there are folks out there who might be interested in those boundaries, or at least just for our conversation, where our soft boundaries are.
Right. So I think in the books that we've put in on our list, we're primarily talking about people who are either escorts or have been escorts before, and people who are who were in the porn industry or are currently in the porn industry.
Excellent. Great.
Yes. And so I think that this trope is exciting in romance because there is a there's a belief out there that if someone is a sex worker, then they are excellent at bringing pleasure. I mean, probably not wrongly so. If this is their job, though. Not everyone's good at their job. I'm not saying people aren't good at their job. I'm just saying that there's an option for that as well.
Someone who's not great at their job. I think that is a universally known fact.
But that's the appeal, right? It's someone who's going to be so fantastic at their job, and their job is giving pleasure. So there is a built-in spiciness, sexiness, hotness factor to the sex.
I think there's also a bit of expectation or stereotype that sex workers can't find love, maybe is the right way to put it, that love and sex are so separated from each other for them that to find both in the same place is not expected. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Okay. I think at least one of the books, if not two of the books on our list, talk about that. I think the reason why this trope is so super tropey and so maybe not, I don't know, it might not really work for me. Like I don't want to chase this trope down. I don't mind if my character, if that's their storyline, but I'm not seeking these out, is because I think that there's so much opportunity here to misrepresent the profession and to make generalizations and statements, and it's such a diverse field, as we just tried to describe and couldn't, that I think that there's just so many opportunities to misrepresent what is a very important work, and so it's one of those but did they get it right? Like, is it like, did this author do a lot of research, or are these preconceived notions that I'm reading?
Yeah. I have found in looking over this list that a lot of the characters, the sex work isn't the major part of their personality, I guess. It isn't the major stumbling block, I'd say, the internal struggle for the other character, perhaps. And I think minimizing that in a story is how authors are normalizing it as well. So, yes, agreed that it can be a minefield. I find it really interesting. I also find myself wanting that stereotypical storyline, which I am trying to self-course correct into reality. So, yeah. It's one of these tropes where I'm learning some shit when I read it.
Yes.
Okay. So I like it. I think I'm like you, Sky. I don't go looking for it, but I don't mind reading it. Yeah. So to the list.
So the first on our list is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hong.
Woo! Yes.
Which so in it he is an escort. It is essentially a Pretty Woman gender flipped Pretty Woman, where he is the escort and she is the person hiring him. It's done a lot more eloquently in terms of the reasons why he is hired and their relationship and how it develops. And they address some of the difficulties in forming a romantic relationship with someone who works in a sexually explicit environment, and what those boundaries are and how to set them, or whether or not the people in the relationship can't comprehend how to set them. Overall, it talks about the importance of sex workers, and the reason that she hires him is so that she could guarantee that the person with her will not back down or have a difficult time with her, because she's neurodivergent and her brain prevents her from relaxing otherwise, and she needs the certainty and the control, and so she exudes that control by paying for services. And then it sort of tumbles out of her control after that, but it starts out with really good intentions and showcases one of the ways in which escort work is so important.
Absolutely.
The next, go ahead. The next two?
Yeah, next two, Intimacy Experiment, which is the most recent one, and The Roommate by, her name just jumped out of my
Rosie
head.
Danan.
Thank you. Yes, Rosie Danan. So each book has one main character from the porn industry. Those two main characters used to date each other. Now they're dating other people and they get their own books. And this is one of those ones I was thinking about where the sex work could be a bigger part of their external conflict with the other person, but just isn't. It's like, this is what I do. Cool. Be cool with it, or goodbye. And I dig that. I really respect that.
I do too. In the first book is The Roommate. I remember wanting him, so he chooses not to continue with being a porn star after he enters into this emotional relationship, this romantic relationship with his roommate. I really hoped, and maybe it's my perverse need and necessity, and like I don't get to dictate that to anyone, but I was really interested in maybe exploring what would happen if he did go back to work, and whether what, because he makes it very clear what his boundaries are between his work life and his personal life. So that like I was an absolute voyeur into that world, to be like, but since I believe you that you can emotionally separate yourself from a sexual encounter, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to continue working and stay with this woman. But obviously I am not that character or a person in that position. So the other one that is on, so I put one on here. It's by Rebecca Weatherspoon. I have not read it, but I immediately went to the library website and requested it. Because it is, so it's called Treasure by Rebecca Weatherspoon, and it is two women and they have an encounter. She has an encounter with someone named Treasure, and then the following morning she goes to class. It's a college class, and she sits next to a woman named Trisha, who happens to be Treasure. And I'm intrigued in every way, and I need to know what happens next. And it's Rebecca Weatherspoon, so a lot of steamy sex is going to happen next.
That reminds me of Sanctuary, who the main character is a lawyer, but to pay for law school or to get through something, she was a sex worker in her past. Yeah.
Yes.
She was a dominatrix, yeah?
She was, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then lastly, this is a weird one to end on, but we're going to end on not a romance.
Well, isn't it though?
No.
Okay.
It's not a romance. American Gods by Neil Gaiman is not a romance, but the god Bilquis gets it on.
She starts the book.
She starts the book with a bang.
With a big bang. Okay, this book has been out for a while. The TV show's been out for a while, and they started the TV show the exact same way. So you know what we're talking about if you've seen it, but it starts on a very explicit sex scenes, and then her vagina eats her prey. Yeah. Look.
I don't know what I was going to say, but look.
And it's not a romance? Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure that I would fall in love with that woman right away.
She sure had a happily ever after in that moment.
Yes, she's very satisfied in that movie.
Her partner did. Yeah. So weird one to end on. Great job. Good, go team. And what a crazy season. Look at all those tropes, and we still had more episodes that we could have recorded. Like, still more tropes to explore. I think there's a reason why every book has a whole handful emerald dash style into their bowl of story. A lot of them I've coming to find really work in tandem, in conjunction with each other. And just comforting, just good to know what you're about to get into because you've seen it before. But how is it going to be done differently and surprisingly?
But how is it going to be done differently? Yes, I think that's why that I've come to understand that this is what tropes are. See, this is the full arc of the season. I had no idea what tropes were. And now I'm all like, yeah, they comfort us with their patterns.
How scientific of us. Comfort me with your patterns. I love you.
Also, your partners with your vaginas. That too.
I'm gonna not do that one. Would you say you like tropes, just in general?
I like knowing what they are, so I know when someone is subverting one. So it isn't that I like tropes per se, and I do not go looking for particular tropes in a book. So I don't check what the storyline is going to be like. So it's not that I like tropes, but I like understanding what all of these intentional pathways are so that I can also understand when someone chooses to change them.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
See you next season.
Okay. Oh, right. I was going to talk about how we don't know what our minisodes are going to be next season, and I completely forgot until you did that thing with your eyes at me that said you were going to say something. You're missing your cue. So, as I just said, we don't know what our minisode topic is going to be about next season. We're still thinking about it. We might already know because we recorded this episode a long time ago. Who knows? So stick with us, stick around. Our final season finale episode is happening soon. I'm not going to give any dates because schedule and secrets. Yeah, so that's happening. Tell your friends, have a happy holiday season, and we'll see you soon. So are you, dear audience human, gonna pick up this book now that you've heard our review? Let us know in the comments. Have a suggestion for another review? Slide on into our DMs.
If you like this adventure in books or updates on our upcoming projects, please follow, like, save, subscribe, rate, review us on Instagram at l.skyford, on Twitch at lskyford, and on Twitter at skyfordl. Phew. I'm Sky.
And I'm Ford. And that's it for this minisode. We will see you next time on Booklandia, where every book is a whole world to explore.